spawning a bunch of the guest tiles, and we're going to be looping over those and generating them instead of individually placing each one, getting the behaviors right for each one, and we're just going to handle the logic all in one place rather than 30 individual behaviors, which was very tedious. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. So we have some notes from last time. Let me zoom in there. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing the tedious behavior setup for your guest background. Decide to cut that and not do it tedious. We're going to loop through each background for the tile and the label for the tile to actually type in the character. And we're going to add the object ID to a dictionary. And if you guys have questions or anything, feel free to ask during the stream. I'm going to be paying attention to the chat and comments. And also, whoever is the most active on here, Clarissa is going to be sending a water bottle, a hyperpad water bottle. I don't have one here with me right now, but they're pretty big. They're like 750 milliliters. I don't know how many, I don't know the American unit measurement for that because millimeters are better. But it's a really big green water bottle with the hyperpad on the side of it. It's pretty snazzy. I drink out of one every day, and not today clearly, but when I'm in the office. Right now I'm in my bedroom. Because that's a cool thing about hyperpad. You can kind of build wherever. All right, so let's get into this. I'm gonna set a timer also, so I'm only gonna be doing this for 45 minutes because I did one for many hours once and it was not good for anybody. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to build Wordle, and this is the tile. Let me see if I can highlight this right here. This is the tile, like the guest tile that we're going to be spawning. So if you guys have played Wordle before, it's going to be, you have a 5-letter word that you're guessing, and you get 5 guesses. Yeah, you get five guesses in Wordle. I think you got 6, but in this version we're only gonna let you do 5 guesses. So that would mean you'd need 5 times 5. You need 25 individual tiles here, which is pretty tedious. So what we're gonna do is we're going to spawn this one. So we pre-created one, and we're going to spawn. We're just gonna spawn them. Spawn 25 of them. And actually, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually take this one off. We're gonna take the tiles off. I have them in 2 separate layers. And I'm gonna change this label to guess. Oops. Just so we can kind of see what we're guessing here. And that would be placed on top of each tile, in the center of each tile. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our main layer where our game logic behavior is. And you'll see that from last time when the stream had technical issues. Turns out my computer was had too many things running. Today I made sure that's not the case. So what we're going to do is, so we have 5 array behaviors, and each one will represent a guess on each word. So what that means, so let me think about how to explain this. So we have 5 guesses. You can imagine each guess having 5 tiles on them. and each tile will change color after you finish guessing. It's going to change color based off of if you got any letters that were correct in the correct position, or they're going to turn yellow if that letter exists in the word. So what we're going to do is let's start generating some of these behaviors. So I'm going to spawn an object on top of itself. So I'm going to loop. Okay, let's actually do this. So we're looping 5 times, and we're going to be looping 5 times for each loop. So for each iteration, we're going to loop another 5 times, and that's going to represent the letter, the index of the letter on the letter array. If you find that confusing, let me see if I can actually. Hold on 1 second. Let me do something crazy here and actually just draw this out. Oops, wrong one. Let me bring up some notes real quick and use the Notes app. I have some sensitive things here, so I'm trying to hide that. There we go. Can I draw on here? I can. Okay, cool. Let's undo that. All right, cool. So what you can imagine is you have 5. Let's do some pseudocode here. So you have 5 tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This, let's say I guessed. Okay, let's say my word is, it's a 5-letter word, craze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. So let's say I guess craze, right? And I turn. So let's say I guess Drake. Okay. So D does not exist in here. I don't know how to change colors on here. Is that any little thing you can do? No, you can't. So after my guess, D would stay gray. D would stay gray. R, A, and E would turn green because those are correct guesses, and K would also be gray. This is actually a bad example. Let me try a different one. Let's do drip. Nope, drip is a bad one too. I need a word. Rains. Okay, let's do rains. So R would turn yellow. A would turn yellow. Oh, yeah, let's do a fake word. We'll do E would turn green. So you have R would turn yellow, A would turn yellow because they're in the wrong spots, but they're in the word. I and N would still be gray. So what we're going to do is we're going to, but we need to actually generate these tiles. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop I'm going to do a C style loop here just because that's something I'm used to. So we're going to do for, let's call it for the current index I, and where I is where we can go up to 5. And then we're going to do another loop. I'll explain what I'm doing in a second for J, also up to 5. So let's draw. 5 here. Okay, so you can think of I being the rows and J being the columns. So, or you can do it the other way around, but that's how I think about it. So you can think of this being I. Oops, how do I bring that down? Can I bring that down? Select all. Oh, cool, I can. Okay, cool. So you can think of I here being shoot. I don't know what you do that. Okay, so you think this would be I equals to 0 and J equals to 0. If you're doing this one, I would be 2 because we're 0 indexing, so I equals 2 and J equals 1 because we're on the second row is going to be J, and then the column is going to be 2. So I actually said that backwards. I is the column, J is the current row. So what we're going to do, so for I equals J, we're going to spawn. We're going to spawn an object, and then spawn is going to return an object ID that it spawns. So this is going to be, so you get an object ID, and we're going to store something in we're going to have to store the object ID. So what we want to do is we want to store all of the actually we're going to say spawn tile, which is going to be both the background of the tile and the letter itself. And so actually we're going to have 2 object IDs here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that into a dictionary. And the dictionary keys are going to be tile ID. Let's use underscore here. Tile ID equals to object ID. Object ID of tile of background. And the tile ID, and then you have the letter ID. So you'll use underscore. It's not object ID of letter. And we're also going to store the guess, or the letter. Actually, you don't really need to store the letter because we can just do get label behavior. Is that what it's called? To actually get the letter that's being shown in the guess. So we're gonna store this dictionary in our for each row in the we're gonna store that in each row of our array guesses. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're gonna loop. So I'm gonna put this pencil away. What if you? Sorry, I'm just going through the questions. So Space Games asked, well, won't you have to make it notice if it isn't a word though? Yes, you will. But what we're doing right now is just a setup of generating all the letters and tiles. We're gonna handle the actual logic of the guess later. Right now we're trying to store the right information and be able to retrieve that information easily. So title ID is the object ID of the background. Yes. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna so for each one we're gonna spawn the object. Okay. We're we're going to spawn two objects here. Okay. This is going to give us the object IDs. So what we're going to do is we're going to store those into a dictionary. And what we're going to do is we're going to create just like a dynamic one. We're going to add, so we're going to use the modified dictionary behavior. It's a little trick. So we have so the default value of a dictionary of the modified dictionary behavior gives you an empty dictionary to work with. And what we're going to do is we're going to set a key, which is going to be back. Oh, sorry. We're going to set that to I'm just going to call it background ID instead of tile ID. So background, I'm just going to use underscores just to make it easier to work with. And then we're going to do background ID, and then we're going to do, and the value is going to be the object just got spawned. Okay. And then we're going to do another modified dictionary. Oops. That didn't get saved. Spawn an object. Yeah, okay. And we're going to duplicate this guy. The value of this is actually going to be the output of this dictionary. And the value of this guy is going to be the other spawn object, the spawning the letter. And just like that, we are now storing our oh, and then I also now want to do I didn't think this through. These are going to be hard to deal with, these behaviors, which are our arrays. What I'm going to do is actually just create a dynamic array here. How can I do that? So we have this and have that. So we have our loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the same kind of concept. I'm going to use the modify array behavior just to create like a dynamic array that we can use. Nope, I can't do that because that is going to store that wrong thing. And I don't want to use a value behavior. Modify array, because I want to create an array of arrays here. Well, I guess I can do that. So we have an array, and this array is going to have 5 items in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. And then we're going to store each one of these arrays in... Oh, that's a bug. So we're going to store that in 0. Okay. That should not be happening. Okay, that's just a visual bug. I'll write that down for later. Let's go back to the notes. Bug where adding values to an array will show multiple times. Watch screen for details around how far in 20 minutes, 20 minutes. And okay. All right, so all right, so I have 0, 1, 2. Oh, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, actually we're doing 5 guesses now, not 6. And 6, there we go. So now what we're doing is we stored each one of these arrays into this array. And the reason why I did that is because I want to dynamically get the through our behaviors here, I want to be able to modify those arrays. I want to modify the array value that we selected. So if we do this, so what we're going to do here is we're going to so modify dictionary, and then we're going to use that to modify an array. And then we're going to select we're going to select we're going to, instead of modify array, we're going to do get array value, and then we're going to select array value of array value index, which is going to be the second one, because that's our the first one, because that's going to be our row, and then we're going to do index. Okay, and now we have our array value, and now we want to append this dictionary to the end of our array here. Get array value here. Which I don't know if this is gonna work, but let's give it a try anyways. I'm gonna try pressing, and I'm gonna create some sort of output here on the main label just to see what the output of that array is. And I'm gonna shrink that guy. Make this be left line. Okay. And then we're going back to our game logic. We're going to set label. And what we're going to set here is not going to be the output of this modify array behavior. I want to see if it got stored properly in that array here. And when you output an array, it outputs it as JSON. So let's just see what happens. Might not work because I didn't set the label. I didn't select the label. There we go. All right, so that did not work. It did not directly modify that array. So we have that. So get array value. I want to get the behavior. So that's not going to work. It's a different way of doing this. So I have an array of 5 array behaviors. I want to get array value at index. Okay. The problem is the get array value will return, the modify array behavior is not, and pointer is the pointer of the value, not the array coming in, because I want this to be value. So the way around this is to use like a bunch of if behaviors. So like if array index is equals 0, use this or add it to this array, but that's pretty tedious. So let me think of another way of doing this. A different way of handling this. So instead of using hard arrays like this, what we can do is we can create a a JSON representation of each array, which so what that means is you're storing the entirety of the array as a string, which isn't the best option for like really heavy games, but because we're only dealing with like 30 only 30 indexes, um, it's not gonna be slow or anything. So so what we're gonna do is instead we're just gonna use a see, the problem though with that is you're gonna need to do a double let's get array value. So we're gonna get the JSON array, and then you would modify it and then update it. That's also not a good solution. What else can we use? I guess we can use like we can use a dictionary instead of an array. And then in the dictionary, we would store an array of values. How can we do this in this thing here? So if I use a dictionary and make each key value be the index, I'm going to run into the same issue with modifying or getting the current guess. What I don't so if we get array value, see the problem is with this get array value, I can't get a I want to get the underlying behavior, so I don't modify that behavior. But if I'm going to run into the same issue with the dictionary, because I don't want to do sub arrays and sub dictionaries, because that's going to get screwed up too. Why can't we do this? I feel like we should be able to do this. I'm just not thinking of a way to do this properly. I know RX Codes has done this, and because we had to fix a bunch of behaviors to get it working for him. So we have a dictionary value. So get dictionary value. So that's going to make it deeper. So we have a mapping. So I was trying to think of a good way of doing this without a bunch of hacks. Because the hack I'm thinking right now is just using object attributes. And what we can do is like it's actually not that big of a hack. So so we actually don't need to use object attributes at all. We can actually use the dictionary and modify. Okay, I got it. I don't like this. I gotta make a change to how we're doing how we handle behaviors to let you do sub arrays and sub dictionaries easier. So about like sub arrays plus dictionaries better. Okay. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. Let's just delete all these guys. We don't need these anymore. And this trick is kind of neat, but I don't really like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a dictionary behavior, and the key for each dictionary is just literally going to be I and J. So what that means is it's going to be a dictionary that looks like this. So the keys are going to be the keys are going to be like 0 underscore 0 colon dictionary or array, or 1 underscore 5. And it's going to be an array. So that's kind of what the keys are going to look like. So that's 0. The first part represents the row, and the second value represents the column, or whatever. I might be saying that backwards again, but that's what we're going to do. So let's see. I'm sure there's a better way of doing that too. I don't know what these behaviors are. Let's see these. I'm sure there's a better way of doing that currently, but just in the interest of time, I'm gonna do it this way. So what we're gonna do is we're going to, so we have a modified dictionary, which is going to be our dictionary of each item. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get array value, and the index is going to our value of behavior. Sorry, no. We're going to get array value from value, and the value is going to be we're going to run the same issue actually. So I'm going to get the value at index. Sorry, I want to do not get array value. I want to do get dictionary value of this behavior, and this is going to be let's call this guesses. Guess files. No, I'm just gonna call guesses. Okay, and because each one's gonna store a bunch of stuff in there. So what we're gonna do is we're going to so you have our dictionary value. So we're gonna get dictionary value, and the key is, let's actually create a key, and we're gonna use the we create a string, combine text. And the first value is going to be, yeah, let's use this. And the first value is going to be I index, and the second value is going to be J. Okay. Why did not save? There you go. And then we're gonna, so the key is gonna be the key that we just created here, and let's call this the key index key. All right. So get value, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna so what this is going to be an array, and then we're going to use the get array value behavior, which is going to be this guy. Get array value behavior. no, modify array, which is going to be the values of this value here, and we're going to append this dictionary here, and then now we are going to modify dictionary with this index key. Oops. We're going to modify dictionary, the behavior. I'm going to select our guesses, set key value. I'm going to set the key to be index key. And then the value is going to be the output of this modify array behavior. And now if we update this label, this should now output the correct thing. You should see a bunch of, yeah, there we go. Look at that. Okay, cool. All right, so, all right, actually I should kind of show you guys what's being output here. So what's being output here is what is being stored in each item in the array. And we're actually storing we're storing each tile in several rows of guesses. And what we're outputting here are the actual object IDs here. So we know it's being stored. We'll find out if it's being stored properly later, if we can actually get the value. So now what we need to do is actually, so let's just delete this guy. We can actually delete this little debug label I created here. What we're going to do now is we're going to move the object we just spawned based off of the position. So we're going to do what is it? Move to point behavior. I'm going to move, let's just move this one for now. We're going to move that spawn to object, and we're going to do it in 0 seconds. You want to move immediately. And we want to do the, so we actually need to do some math here. Logic, we're going to do some mathematics. And what we're going to do is we're going to add values. Nope. Okay, so what's the formula here? So we know the coordinates, and then we just got to multiply the coordinates based off of the position. So we got to do multiply values. We have to do this for x and y. Multiply value, which is going to be the row. So this is going to be our, actually we'll do the x. It's going to be our x value. Multiply x times so x times, I guess, like the width. No, x times the so the current position. Actually do an addition here first. So we gotta do add. We add 32 plus some sort of padding. Let's call it sorry, is this in pixels or meters? This is in meters. So we're gonna do I think each square is 1 meter big, and then 0.5 padding, and then multiply that value times the index, and that's going to be our x value. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we'll find out. And then we're going to do the same thing. Let's duplicate that for the y. do y here, but delete this and update. So loop 1, loop 0 index is going to be our y value. And we're going to add that. And remove that to the right place. Let's see what happens. So I should see a bunch of boxes here. And we see at the bottom left corner. Why do we see at the bottom left corner? Why are they all like huddled together? Because it's bottom left 0, 0. It is 0, 0. Oh shoot. Okay, so I need to find out what the top of the screen is. So the X seemed to be fine. Let's just do one. Just in split select one, right? So that size. Let's use a different iPhone. Let's see what much space we want left there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's just the spacing is too much. All right, so the reason why that spacing is too much is we have, so it's going to be the size of the box plus, which is going to be 1 meter. Is it even 1 meter? Let me just see how big these are. Guess letters. Guess background, sorry. This is 125. Oh, okay, so we scaled these up a bit too, so it's a little bit bigger than 1 meter. So 32 times, what's math? 32 times 1.25, so 40 pixels. And then each meter is 42 divided by, 40 divided by 32. So 1.25 meters. I should have known math. That's basic math. All right. So we have, what did I say? 1.25 meters. So we have 1.25 meters plus one meter of padding between each one. Let's do 1.25 meters between each one. That's not good. So 2 meters between each one for each side. Okay. And then we also have to do, because so we multiply that, but we also need to add another offset to this, which is going to be because we're measuring from the center, so it'd be 1.25 divided by 2, which my math is not the best, so let's just do calculations. 1.25 divided by 2, 0.625. So we're gonna grab this plus 0.625 just to grab this, to add it by its center. And then that's what this guy should be. That value is, oh, this guy right here. So now we should see everything be properly, oops. Of that. And let's also add a bit of padding on the as well. So let's just do 6.25. Let's do. We actually have this cool new behavior here, which lets you do a math expression, um, where you can put an array of values here. Is that what it is? An array of values? Let me redo that and dictionary this. Math expression equals 2, use D, an array of values, populate your thing. Oh, cool. Can we do that? Let's give that a try. So we're gonna do so 1.25 plus 2 plus all times the percent f, which is because of the floating point number, and then is that what I want to do? So add values. (1.25) times f. Okay, and then we're going to add all of that. Plus our padding. Plus our padding, which is going to be 0.25 on the left. And we're also going to do on the right too. 0.25 on the right, or on the left. And then their values here, I wonder if we can just put a single value and it'll just be smart enough. I don't think so, but let's give it a try anyways. And then I'll just try doing this here. Let's make this result. And then this is going to be the value of J. Let's see here. No, we didn't make that. Oh. Let's go back here, guys. Let's do that like that. This needs to be an array. So I'll just quickly use the modify array behavior. Just putting that one index. So this should be not a percent %d. This should be or percent %f. This should be percent %d. And you can actually find more documentation on this on documentation.hyperpad.com and like what the actual percent modifiers you should use depending on different values. And then this should be modify array. What is doing that for? There we go. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, perfect. But it doesn't do our padding. Nice. Let's just modify this behavior. So I'm going to do 0.5 on the left. So half a meter on the left and half a meter on the right. Even more. Actually, not half meter on the left and right. It's just me on the left. So I was just basically adding itself. So let's just do 1.5 padding on the left. There we go. Let's do a little bit more. 1.75. There we go. All right, let's turn this back to iPhone. Make sure it looks right. Needs me off the screen. Yeah, it is. So that means we got to play around with this value a little bit more. Instead of adding it by 2, because that's our actual padding. Let's do 1.75. Yeah, okay, and let's make our padding on the left be a little bit better. So for different screen sizes, this is where you'd actually pull in the screen size with using the scene behavior and like get scene settings or something. What is it called? If you go to UI or get screen, you use get screen behavior, and I'll tell you the size of the current screen. But right now we're just going to be focused on iPhone. But let's do 1.6 meters. It's a lot of magic numbers here, but that's okay. Let's do 1.5. That's close enough. Let's do the spacing between them a little bit better. I mean, a little bit less. Let's do 1.65 spacing. There we go. That was about equal on each side. So now we have to fix the Y position. So we can actually get rid of all of our these guys. We actually don't need them. Our math expression was actually pretty decent. So get rid of that multiply. Get rid of that multiply. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for Y. Duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate this guy. So modify array 14, and we're going to be from modify array 14. We're going to grab the first loop index because this is going to be a Y. That's right, modify 14, and then we also want to add the size of the screen to this as well. That's going to be our padding as well. So we're actually going to add a second value. We're actually going to use get screen behavior. Or is there a better way of doing this? I'm going to do a little hack. We're going to create an invisible object. And I'm just going to set this to be just like right here. You know what? I don't even need to do that. I already have an object. I'm going to grab the position of hyperPad Wordle and add that to my modify array 14. So object, sorry, how do I get position again? Get transform, get position. Alright, so we're gonna get position of hyperpad Wordle, which is gonna be under global UI. I don't think you can do like an offset 10 times. Okay. And we're gonna put it in screen coordinates. It really doesn't matter because the screen coordinates and our local coordinates are the same. So realistically, it doesn't matter. So we're going to do we're going to get position and font. Oh, this should be expression 2 result. And I get position here, and I'm going to append another array value here. Let's modify array again. Modify array. I'm going to add another value to this expression, which is going to do, we're going to grab this one, we're going to append get position y, and then we're going to add that to the end of our expression here. So plus position, oops, plus %d, because we're using a decimal number. So let's play and see how that looks like. Might not work. And as I forgot to put changes, so we're at 15. There we go. Nice, but that's too high. So what we want to do is actually grab all this stuff here. We want to do %d minus all that. Because we want to grab the top of the array and then subtract our calculations from this. We also want to subtract the padding. It's called 0.5 plus all this stuff. I'm subtracting all that, add it together. All right, let's see how that turns out. Not like how that was calculated. So there was syntax error here. And I'll do in brackets times %d. Nope. You get that second one. So %d minus, oh shoot. Okay, so the order matters here. Well, no matter actually. Just swap the, so %d minus that. Okay, and we're just gonna swap these guys. This is going to be position y, and then this is going to be loop index. So that's there we go. Look at that. I gotta make that padding just a bit more. Let's do 2 meters. Let's do a little bit more. $2.5 meters. Yeah, let's also move down hyperpad Wordle just a bit too, so it's not running into that little notch. There we go. So now those tiles will be completely based off of where that hyperpad Wordle is in the vertical position. It's gonna add that. Cool. All right, so for next week, we're gonna do the same thing for the letters. Sorry, not next week. I do this every other week. So what we're going to do is I'm gonna write some notes here. Oops. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go to my notes here. Go to main layer. So we want to do change the position of the spawned letters similar to the tile background. We also want to do handle guess logic with a dummy word. And what that means is going to be close guess, close guess, change color, correct guess, change color to green. Bad guess, do nothing. And then switch to set. Yes. Set current guess. And then we also need to do on type, like when we type, update the guess, update the current guess. Easy peasy. That's gonna be next week, or not a couple weeks from now, and that's what we're gonna do. So, yeah, I think we had some good stuff here. We learned a lot. Found some bugs, and then I don't like how we're doing. I don't like how we're handling subarrays. Or maybe I do. I haven't. I was kind of flustered, so I was trying to think on the spot, and there might be a better way of handling it, but I don't know. I'll look into that a little bit more, and otherwise, there's a bug there for sure. Not a bug, but like a missing feature of being able to get the direct values of an actual array behavior or dictionary behavior. Anyways, guys, and ghouls, I will check back in with you in a couple weeks, and yeah, if you guys have more questions, if you guys have more questions about like how hyperpad works, stuff you want to see, if you have any comments or criticisms, feel free to ask them. If you're wondering why things are taking so long, feel free to ask those things too. And yeah, if you want to see like actual hyperpad, if you want to ask specific hyperpad development questions, I'm the guy to ask because I'm one of the guys building it. So yeah, just hit us up on our socials, you find those on the left of the screen, and hit us up on our Discord as well if you have. Oh, that's also on the left of the screen too. Cool. All right. See you guys next week. Next couple weeks. Sorry, saying next week.